Well, that was fun, and so is judging a game for mere minutes of exposure. In an attempt to join the teeming masses of I Was Proven Wrong videos for Silent Hill 2 Remake, I'm here to stake my negative opinion on top of this not-so-Silent Hill. In actuality, I missed the whole wave of hate for this game prior to release, so I'm a little late to the party. And now it seems the theme has changed to overwhelming positivity, which is great. But I'm trying to be a crybaby purist today, so by definition, I need to be disgruntled by an attempt to put a fresh coat of modern paint over this timeless classic. About an hour in and I already have a bunch of thoughts. I understand that coming directly from the original Silent Hill 2 isn't going to do me any favors in how well I accept this game, but here we go. The opening just doesn't do it for me for a majority of reasons. It's a mixed bag of originality I can appreciate and different approaches that for me don't capture the vibe that made the original so good. Everything just feels a tad bit extra. I'm not saying this can't end up working for me for the remainder of the game. All I'm saying is for my initial reaction, I was flustered. The original Silent Hill 2 is a game that thrives in just placing you in a world and letting you sit and think in it. It's not throwing things at you left and right in dramatic fashion or loud theatric ways. The best way I can describe it is the original Silent Hill 2 doesn't feel like you're building up to something, it feels like you're sinking into an increasingly grim reality. What I loved most about the original opening cutscene was how empty and confusing it felt. You look at James's face and you try to put an emotion on it, but you just can't. You could say it seems cold, but the next moment he's showing some innocence with the way he delivers Mary. Could you really be in this town? His deep breath can't even be placed either. Is he trying to relax himself, to psych himself up? In the remake, his emotions can be read pretty easily. He's got all the I'm scared or I've seen some shit tropes down to a T. Shortness of breath, hands are trembling, he squeezes one for some reason with his thumb. Can't wait to see the video essays on that. He takes a gulp, and we linger on the shot because water droplets on his face. He has to have this slow, theatric head raise to look at the mirror so he can look like he's never seen his own face before and be disappointed that he's not as attractive as he'd hoped. Like, Mary, could I really be this ugly? I think it's awesome that as technology advances, video game developers can capture more and more subtleties in an actor's performance, but forgive me, I was more interested in seeing them recapture some of the magic of the original. The lighting, the graphics, the whatever, look gorgeous, and I'll admit, I liked when White Noise started playing when he fully looked in the mirror. I was fanboying a bit. I get it, this game's a masterpiece, don't shoot me. But as soon as I had time to sit with it, I started to question, why is it necessary? Epicness for the sake of epicness, I guess. Fan service over setting the vibe. I initially felt the same for the new brighter layers added to White Noise. I've now grown to love it because just from a musical standpoint, shit is awesome. Musically, all the shit just kicks ass here in the opening. But my initial reaction is it just felt awkward, like end of a game sounding music in the opening, and again just adds more emotion to a scene that I thought originally thrived because of how much it lacked. A lot of the game's premise is to slowly show you bits and pieces of James's inner thoughts that can go in a variety of ways, which lends credence to the whole every ending is canon idea. Here it's like the game is already diving into his originally hidden feelings by telling you something's wrong with him. But I will say that his look after the fact, which doesn't exist in the original, is what's winning me back. That's where I start to question myself again, and I'm like, do I like the more happy vibes of White Noise? Is it just here for the fans to be like, woohoo, Silent Hill 2 Remake? Or is it a new way of conveying James's varying emotional states? I like that he's looking back at himself, no longer being Mr. Visibly Shaken. Jesus, look at me, I'm already flip-flopping my opinions. I'm supposed to be mad. Okay, how about this? I hate that Mary doesn't read her letter to the White Noise music and instead does it to the Promise acoustic. I just think that's objectively a stupid choice. Mary's letter just fits so snug with the ethereal and peaceful vibe of White Noise, so why change it? I don't dig the new voice acting for Mary in the letter cutscene either. I'll be full butthurt diehard here, it's just mid. Most of the sentences sound like they're weirdly structured in terms of her delivery, like she's noticeably trying to be original in the way she enunciates it, and she just reads it too damn fast at times. James is fine though, in general. He's the only character I don't have a problem with yet. The dark-sounding music doesn't play immediately after the letter anymore, because everything needs to have its own separate entrance. I get that it doesn't fit the vibe of the first area in this remake as much as it does in the original, but I just prefer to have the unsettling music right off the bat. It got that foreboding atmosphere going from the moment you take control of James outside the bathroom. I can understand the appeal of descending into the forest, having the fog start to build, getting to the first save point, then the Angela cutscene, then the dark music, and more fog as you get closer to the town. But the long trip just to get there felt longer when the music was playing all the way through in the original. And this whole segmented approach of introducing the vibe feels like, okay, how do we keep the road to Silent Hill long while trying to keep the modernized audience from writing off the game as boring and ejecting the disc right out the gate? Shit like the random auto parts shop with the key in the drawer serves no purpose other than to just do shit on the way to Silent Hill, which interferes in me getting immersed in the atmosphere. All the stopping and starting with the original music just feels like cramming shit in for the sake of not pissing off the OG fans, which is ultimately successful because if the music wasn't there, I would have been pissed. But the whole intro just never gives you a chance to sit with the music and the fog, to build up that eerie feeling so everly present in the original. When getting to the first save point, James says the groping inside my skull line out loud. I don't like that. I haven't played more than a half hour of this game, but I can only hope that he doesn't do that for everything in the game. I love the inner dialogue of James when interacting with things in the original because it was all text, and text can carry any emotion you choose to give it. So it kept that disconnect between you and James and knowing who he truly is, which is a core part of the game for me. The Angela cutscene. Ugh. I can't think of a better way to suck the life out of a character that's so charismatic. One who, let's be real, has all the best cutscenes in the game in the original. I get that this is a remake, not a remaster, and we can't expect all these voice actors to just copy all the original inflections and be ripoffs, but so far there's been breaks in their sentences that make no sense, like Mary in the opening, I'm alone there now. Or just weird line deliveries where the emotion is misplaced, like with Angela saying, this town, there's something wrong with it? Like it's the first time she's used the fucking word wrong. If the goal of this remake is to move away from the unrealistic, ridiculous, and overly emotional dialogue of the first, and go for a more grounded, real-world human approach, you could start by actually talking like one. The only hope I have for Angela is her blow-up moments, where she gets angry or scared, like this actress is gonna fucking bring it, because overly dramatic trauma flexing is in these days. I do like that you can interact with her post-cutscene. She has a few dialogue options to wear out. That was neat. Now it seems like we're drifting into gameplay, so let's talk about it. As soon as I gained control of James, I immediately missed the fixed camera angles and his ridiculous running animation. Ugh, those swaying hips. Jogging, or should I say hopping, around in the remake just feels like a leisurely stroll through the park. Every step in the original felt cinematic. There was weight behind every step, both through the animation and how loud the footsteps were. The different camera angles obviously worked well to highlight environments in unique ways throughout the game, and not having a full scope of the area at all times heavily contributed to that uncomfortable feeling when you couldn't see what was in front of you. It sounds stupid when you think about how annoying fixed camera angles can be in a situation where you're not trying to die in a video game, and when you do die you're just like, fuck this, it's the camera's fault. But this is a psychological horror game, and handicaps, intentional or not, help that helpless feeling that's a crucial part of the experience for me. I think the third-person camera view is ironically a handicap for telling this story, which I'm sure this game will find a way to overcome, even if it's in ways I don't prefer. And I can already see that with the first monster encounters, as they are now the scariest part of the opening, and probably the number one thing I'm excited for now, and I can't believe I'm saying that shit. They move much faster on the ground in the remake, and the first encounter with the lying figures is just great at building tension. The controllers vibrating, ground shaking, they're breaking shit in the background with sudden loud movements, and the way the background music of the town constantly amplifies the monster scream sound effect in it is fantastic. The combat just in that first encounter alone already felt so nice and smooth. Almost feels like I just booted up Last of Us 2. And it seems like James was saving that weight in his step for when he'd have to stomp the fuck out of a dying monster. But forget that, let's get back to shitting on gameplay James. I hate how fast he whips out the map. I don't know how he doesn't rip that shit every time. The map is iconic to me, hearing that sweet map ASMR, the fading in and out of black between looking at the map and gameplay. But I'm assuming this is due to the game having more action, so I'll probably end up really enjoying it. Like if I'm not allowed to pause the game to look at the map, that will definitely win some points with me. I mean, fuck this game, this ain't the original, death to the remake. The fog is good though. Well, that's gonna about do it for my thoughts so far. Hopefully you enjoyed the intro. It took me hours to get the right sounds, lighting, and camera angles, so I had to use it. Considering all the positive buzz around this game coming off so much negative buzz, I can only assume this game will succeed in all its new approaches the more I play it. Maybe it'll even be better. If you like this, leave a like, comment, and perhaps subscribe, and I just might make some more.